Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike, and today I'm going to take a look at the AMK mini series 11 centimeter model kit, and there's 6 of these in a set, and I think they're only sold through Show Z as a set. I'm going to link down below where you can get these at Show Z. $65 shipped for 6 of them. So it's a budget set, non-transforming. They have a lot of paint applied. They look pretty good, but you have to put them together. But it's just kind of snapping 10 pieces together. It's not a big deal. So we'll assemble a Megatron, then we'll look at all of them, and we'll take a look at articulation, comparisons, lots of comparisons. Where do these fit with Legends? Do they fit with your main line? Do they fit with, what do they fit with? Or are they their own thing? So we're going to talk about all of that. But anyway, I will get into taking a look at these today. But I'm the first person to show the retail versions. The rest were still prototypes or test shots or something along those test shots that other people have gotten to look at about a month ago. And these are the actual retail, which you will receive. So without further ado, let's get into taking a look at these AMK minis coming up. All right, here is the packaging, very reminiscent of, it's kind of a G1, but a modern flare. It almost looks like it almost looks like a VHS tape in a way. It's the way it's shaped. It's kind of cool. It kind of shows everything from this first wave on here, and this one's Megatron. Now, all the rest of them have similar look to it. Then you have it kind of in here like this, and I guess I'm the first person to show it like this because the other videos were ones that got sample test shots. This is the actual retail version, so this is what you will be getting when you order it. It will come packed like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to assemble Megatron, and then we're going to get into looking at all of them, and here's the instructions, which you don't really need. It's really simple, really straightforward. So let's get into assembling this guy. This is the packaging. Alright, so I think the best way to assemble him is to just start from the bottom and work your way up, and wow, tight. We're going to pop that in place. Same thing on the other side. We are going to pop this other foot into place, and so I feel it's tight putting it on, which means it's probably going to be pretty tight and hold tight, hold well. That's good. Let's get in here to the waist piece and move the hip flap out of the way. Snap that in place. Same thing over here, and we're only going to build the one. I just don't see it being worthwhile for people to have to watch me build all of them, and then it would take a long time, make the video a lot longer, and really unnecessary, because they're all going to be about the same. If I come across anything that's different, I'll let y'all know. So far, I'm feeling really, really nice, tight joints with this as we go. Pop the head on. Yeah, it's on there good, and that works. Now let's build an arm. I guess we'll start with this right shoulder, right arm, right hand. So they got in there a pointer hand. I guess we'll go through the gambit of hands too, and then I believe they all have the same hands. So put this in here. Which way does the elbow go? The elbow goes this way. That went in there. I guess I went off camera trying to see it around the camera. Anyway. Popped on pretty good. Now that's tight. That is nice and tight. You know, he's going to stand there and point at you while I put the other one together, assembling the other arm. And we don't need a second pointer hand, so point your finger hand. So as he's pointing at you. So here is the shoulder. I knocked him down. There's the hole for the shoulder, and then there's the hole for the arm. And then you figure out which way the elbow goes. And there it is. And then put the hand in there. And snap. And that's how that goes. And the reason that this thing's here, of course, is for the cannon. Let's put the cannon piece in to the slot. And we've got that. And then we've got the transformation kibble, even though it didn't transform. Transforming kibble to plug in. Yeah, there he is. He's looking pretty good. And what's left in here is just some more hands. So we'll have a look at that. So I'll come back, we'll look at him, then we'll look at the rest. Alright, so taking a look at him real quick. First off, the face sculpt is a pretty nice face sculpt. And you got some paint on the eyes, and that's about it. So the whole thing is silver with some red paint on the eyes. The head is on a ball joint, so it turns and looks up. And it's really, really tight. But, man, that looks good. And there'll be no... Everything's really tight on this guy. Let's see here. Shoulder goes out to about there. And, of course, you have the 360 on the ball joint. And then, of course, you have the bicep swivel. And a little past the 90. And then hands move side to side. So that all works. And as we can see, we saw that as we built it. Then nothing in here. Because, I mean, it's a $10. Kind of a $10 figure. So side to side. A little bit of some rubbing from that back piece kibble there, but it's just is what it is. Then no ab crunch, not really expected. You go about out to there, and about back to the 90, and then out, and I think it'll go past the 90, and joints are tight, so he's going to be able to do a karate kick. Let's get that balance there. Sure, we can balance him. Yeah, that's a good sign of quality there. I mean, that dude can balance for a karate kick. You'd probably want to move his head, turn his head, but we're not into all that. Okay, so thigh swivel, cut at the thigh swivel right there. And then we have, let's see, past the 90. Not double jointed, but it goes all the way there, and it's almost cut out like it expects to stop there. So that's pretty good. And then side to side, up and down, ball jointed on the feet. Yeah, good, decent articulation. And now let's just look at these hands real quick. So the two hands he has on are fisting and pointing, and you're probably getting tired of his fisting and his pointing from behind. And so we have one extra, and I think I'll just swap the fisting hand, the pointing hand out, and do an open splayed hand. Since he has nothing to hold, it kind of makes sense for that to be kind of a splayed hand. And then it also makes sense that this would be his pointing hand. He can point this, but also probably if you were shooting a cannon, you'd probably have a fist instead of a pointing finger. But Megatron's rude, so I imagine Megatron likes to point a lot. It's rude to point, and yeah, it didn't Vector Sigma tell him that. But anyway, good looking figure. Let's look at the rest of these guys. All right, so here we are with the rest of them assembled, put together. I did leave the rest of the hands in the box. Try to get a little variety. Some pointing, some open, some fisting going on. And yeah, this looks pretty good. Having this squad here, I think it's a nice, kind of a nice mix of characters for 6. You got 3 good guys, 3 bad guys. It would be nice if they do another set like this. We get another set of 3 good and 3 bad. And that looks really good. It really works out very well. Now, each one of these did feel really nice. Compared to, I really thought they'd feel super ultra cheap, and they feel pretty solid. All the joints are tight and everything, and they all feel the same way. So I'm going to go through each one of these, just kind of take a quick overview of each one, and then we'll get into some comparisons, because where do these fit in scale with the rest of your collection? Well, we'll talk about that. All right, we're going to do this real fast. Here's Bumblebee, and we're not going to go over articulations the same on all the figures except Grimlock, so no big deal there. But I was a little surprised how kind of orangish yellow he is, and I like it. I actually like this yellow. It's what I feel Bumblebee's color should be. And my camera and the lighting, it might look a little brighter, but it has a bit of a slight orange tinge to it, and kind of feels like a taxi cab kind of yellow. But he does come with his gun, which is nice. So I've got his holding gun, and then I went ahead and put a splayed hand in there so we can get into some pretty cool, different little stances and stuff. But the way he's set up, he's got some nice, decent-sized feet, and I think he's proportioned really well. I don't know if I'd want his feet a little smaller, maybe slightly smaller, and his head sculpt is a little weird. He does have some paint on it. From the back, it looks nice and clean. These non-transforming Transformers are the only way to get them this clean. They just don't get this clean. I know people think the Fans Toys one is this clean, but there's still a little bit of kibble and showing through. And yeah, this looks good though. And I like the blue on here. Feels very cartoony. Feels mostly G1 with a little bit of stylization to it. Grimlock, he looks really good too. I mean, we're in the midst of getting all these Dinobots from all these different companies, and I keep mine in bot mode. So to have just a random Grimlock in Dino mode is not going to hurt me or bother me. Looks good. His mouth opens up, so it's the whole top hinges, not the lower, like you usually see. They did put this in here. It looks like a nod to the transformation, even though it doesn't transform. It doesn't do anything. It's just there, and then oddly, you put this tail together, click it together like this. I thought it'd be more interesting if it was just two pieces. The one plugs into the other, but that probably is a cost reduction piece. I don't know. But it would have been nice that the other piece. I'm okay. This swivels. That's fine. You do have this front and back. It does not go side to side, so it's just front and back. And then we do have some articulation here, and that's that. Then we have a ball joint for these arms. What we saw with the jaw and the head side to side. The articulation's fine. Got a Autobot symbol there. So he works, he gets the job done, and that is a Grimlock for sure. Optimus Prime looks pretty good, almost a little, I don't want to say cartoony, but yeah, almost a little on the cartoony side versus maybe the G1 cartoon. More like something you'd see with a little less G1. I mean, it's a very G1 looking figure, and they've done a lot of good things with them, but I'm saying this looks like something would come out of a modern adaptation kind of a cartoon than the G1, but it does look good. It feels good. It's solid. I like the Autobot symbol tamper-graphed on here. We've got some paint here and on right down here. That silver all the way around is nice. The blue on the windshield. So there's more to it. It's not like just an unpainted. And I've seen a lot of these that they're saying are going to come unpainted, and I would have been disappointed if this didn't come like this. I mean, I'm happy with just at least getting it dyed in the right colors and then the paint accents they put on. It's fantastic. It is fantastic. His gun looks pretty good. He can do whatever you need to do. Now I'm going to put his pointing is not pointing out of rudeness. His pointing is pointing out of giving direction and, hey, we're leading in a battle. Megatron pointing is, Starscream, you put on 5 pounds this weekend. Then we get into Starscream, who has his null rays, and they just kind of clip on here, which is cool and easy and gets the job done. Feels very Starscreamy. He's got these things here, which I keep thinking are called pylons, and somebody corrected me now, I forgot, but nice paint. Nice paint with the yellow, nice paint with the red, and all the way through. Really looks good on the back. I mean, it's almost wasted because it's the back and no one's really going to look at it, but it's the way it would look if he really transformed. And some blue on the lower area there, and then blue, casted blue, painted blue, and they don't match exactly, but they're really close, so that's good enough. His feet are kind of thin. I think he's got the thinnest, smallest feet out of all of them, and kind of dainty. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Same articulation we expect with the rest of them that we see with the rest of them. But one thing about it is his face isn't painted. He's got eyes, but it's all just one color monochrome. Kind of like what Make Toys did, where they never painted their face either, and a lot of people wanted one with a painted face. But yeah, look at the paint gleaming on this. I mean, even more paint on this than an average Magic Square figure, so that's pretty cool too. I love Magic Square, but we'll be getting into comparisons here in just a bit to see kind of where they stack up with what. But yeah, Starscream looking good. We have a Soundwave, and I was gonna say that he comes with the most stuff, but he comes with the same exact amount as Starscream with this extra thing up here in his gun. And Starscream comes with 2 of the null rays, but so they're the same amount. It just feels like more because they're different. The 2 null rays feel like a redundancy, and these are differently molded pieces. Now Soundwave's got his face painted, and he's got his eyes painted, and he looks really good. I mean, this is a good looking Soundwave. I mean, if you have the opportunity to just buy one and you say, well, I just want to get Soundwave, or I just want to get Prime, or I just want to get Megatron, then you can do that also. But looks good. There's this gun, which I don't think it looks like any other Star Soundwave gun that I have seen in the past. I do like the blue on here. I do like all the yellow accents. I mean, the paint app they hit are pretty intricate. And then, of course, the Decepticon symbol, and then all the paint here and all through here. And really no paint on the back. Looks good. Looks good. It almost feels like he's got some wheels back here. I'm sure those are the dials for whatever, but pretty good looking. I mean, there's no opening of the chest. There's no cassettes to go with it. Just, it is what it is. He's directing his cassettes that don't exist. That's going to be Soundwave. The single dad that I guess he's paying a lot of child support and alimony because he don't got his kids. Here is a comparison. Magic Square. This is Legends. This is not Masterpiece, but it's what they're doing in the this is the AMK Pro Series. These are the minis. So like you see the size difference in there. And I was thinking that this Megatron would work well for Legends. Slightly too large, but could sub out if you wanted them to. Now you can see the aesthetic difference between these, and you can see that this still does look a little bit more G1 even though it transforms. This still looks a little bit on the stylized side, but still looks great. I love how they're doing these over here, but I like this kind of silver better than the battle-worn, battle-damaged look. I'm not a huge fan of the battle-damaged look. I like my bots clean, like, you know, they're on the shelf. They're done with the warring for a bit. There's peacetime. They're just kind of trying to look good, but that's the way I look at them. So then I started thinking maybe, and I'm going to do more comparisons, but maybe it's Transformers Red scale, and no, it's not. It's still a little too small for Transformers Red. Almost that scale, but a head too short. So it is closest to Legends out of everything so far. So far from what we've seen, closest to Legends. I'm going to do some more swapping out. We're going to do some more looking at all this. All right, and getting to see kind of exactly what they look like. This is a little bit better of a comparison shot, so you can see this is Voyager scale, which is Hasbro's mainline, and pretty much all the Optimize will probably scale exactly with that one, really close. And then this is Red, which I felt Red should have been big enough to swap out. Like, hey, I don't have this guy, so let me just put the red one in there. And then this one here. So it is too short to be Red. I think it's more Legends. I mean, if you really swap it out for Legends, it'll work for Legends. And I think that I've shown that. Now, when it comes to Grimlock in there with the Dinobots, it almost feels too small, in a way, to be part of the Dinobots. But it'll still work. If you want to just mix them in, and use one of your Dinobots, or just mix them in with your Legends figures, that'll work. It'll be fine. It'll get the job done. And he looks good. He definitely looks the part. I mean, the fact he doesn't transform, but he still kind of has a lot of similar aesthetic cues, and it would be, oh, okay, yeah, this definitely fits in with your New Age or your Magic Square or whatever. Showing a little bit more Legends scale stuff, just kind of give you a better idea of how it stacks up in Legends. And here's another one. Just, yeah, I think you can swap them out. I mean, if you really wanted to swap them out for a Legends scale figure, yeah, it would work. It'd be fine. But that's just my idea. But then again, Legends collectors want transforming small figures. Not non-transforming, but just kind of showing so you can see what it looks like. So what do I think of these? I think that these are really cool for the price point. You're saying $65 gets all of these shipped. That is awesome. And they are pretty high quality. The hardware feels good. It feels good. It's just all ball joints, but they hold really well. As you can see, the articulation is pretty good. I'm really happy with the AMK Pro Series, and it feels like they carried quite a bit of that into this. And as little model kits, there's a little bit of assembly required, but the paint that's on them, and they look good. They're already pretty much ready to go once you open out of the box and snap them together, so I like them. Some you could sort of fit them in with your Legends, but in reality, it's a whole new scale. So you want to start a whole new scale for $65, you know, per shot. Maybe they'll do 20 of these, so you're looking at a couple $100. You have a whole collection of 20 of them. That would be pretty awesome. But I'm curious what you think about these non-transforming Yolopark mini kits. But I like them, and I'm going to pick every one up that they make. I mean, for the price point, it's hard to beat that for the price point. It's really awesome. It's the price point of a lot of Legends figures for just one figure. But anyway, let me know in the comments below. I have a link down below where you can get these at Show Z. Like and subscribe. Titanium Hanger out.